And now, my friends, we are going to tread a little bit further into the brain and look at the place where the brain meets the mind. And so we're going to be discussing brainwave states. There are 4 brainwave states that we're going to look at today together, although there is an additional one that we simply won't have time to get to. And we can look at these 4 brainwave states. They can be seen visually when we hook our brains up to something called an EEG. It's an electroencephalogram. It prints out a visual composition that looks a lot like different mountain ranges. All of these brainwave states are natural, they are all normal, and at some point every day, we dip into them. So we'll start first with beta. Beta is the most active brainwave state. It is your conscious mind. It's where we need to be when we're actively solving problems or engaging in a conversation. We're very alert here. We have awareness of our 5 senses and we are concentrating. You might liken this beta brainwave state, if we were to print it out on that EEG, to the Rocky Mountains. There are really high peaks, there are really low valleys, and lots of ridges condensed into a small space. Again, most of our time is spent here. If we were to take a step down in brainwave activity, we would get to the alpha brainwave state, which is often called the gateway to the subconscious mind. We would make it here when we are starting to lightly meditate. It becomes easy to visualize here. We become so creative here. It's great for learning. They'll often have young children, or if you're in the right school, they'll have adults do it too. They will get you to draw, to doodle, to start to create as you're learning, because your brain gets so spongy and curious in this alpha brainwave state. So again, if we were to print out our electroencephalogram and look at the topography of this brainwave state, alpha brainwave state looks a lot like the Appalachian Mountains. They're still mountains, but the peaks aren't quite as high as Rockies would be. The valleys aren't quite as low. And there are still lots of ridges, but over a slightly more diffuse area. Let's take another step down. And now we're in our theta brainwave state. This is deep in the subconscious mind. This is where, if you've ever gone to a hypnosis session, you would get there for this. We become highly suggestible. So it's important to be aware of what you're putting into your brains when you're in these relaxed states. We'll often enter this stage during sleep. We'll talk more about that in a moment. These sleeps are filled with vivid dreams. We get here with deep meditations, longer meditations, ones that are more than 20 minutes. We start to be able to access intuition. We start to be able to look at memories that are not normally there in our waking states. Our theta brainwave state is really fascinating because when we go to sleep every night and we enter into that REM, or that rapid eye movement sleep, those cycles are about 90 minutes long. Now, the first time that I enter one, I might have only 3 or 4 minutes in that theta brainwave state. The next 90-minute cycle, I may get a total of 6 minutes in that 90-minute cycle. The longer I stay asleep, the longer those theta stretches will get, until the time that I wake up when they're at their longest. The longer I stay asleep, the better my body gets about putting me into that theta brainwave state. Now, if we were printing this one out on our EEG form, they might not be mountains anymore. They would be smaller foothills, maybe something like the foothills out in beautiful Montana. Lower peaks, higher valleys, much more diffuse. And then finally, our delta brainwave state is the unconscious mind. It's a deep, 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 dreamless sleep. We might go here for transcendental meditation. This is a place of automatic self-healing and immune system functioning. It's very valuable to us too.